Welcome everyone to another episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. Your boy Captain Mal here, and today I'm joined by
Weapon 2
and
T-Crawler.
the three Phenoms back together. And what momentous occasion can bring the three of us together? Why? To bring you a Punisher Season 2 official review. So, I'm excited. We've been waiting a long time for this.
Yes, we
We've been
have.
waiting a long time for this.
Yes, I'm excited.
T-Crawler, why don't you lead us in? Talk to us about Punisher Season 2. What's going down?
No, I don't want to start it.
Weapon 2! Talk
yeah,
to us
yeah,
about
yeah.
Punisher Season 2.
Punisher!
Tell us about
Punisher
that.
Season 2 for me was better than Punisher Season 1. I mean, I'm telling you what, this thing, when it starts out, we start out with spoilers. What's going on is,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, he's like in witness protection. He's changed his identity. He's trying to turn over a new not killing people leaf, and he's at a Roadhouse bar, and this girl comes in. She's getting hassled, but he doesn't want to do it. He's trying to stick to his new code. He can't do it. Anarchy ensues. There's fighting and killing. You know there's going to be a lot of fighting and killing. Now, what I liked about this, it was a roller coaster for me because Jigsaw, Russo, that's his last name, Russo,
Yeah,
right?
Billy Russo returns.
Billy Russo, he has amnesia at the beginning. And you almost start feeling like you're having trouble being mad at him for a while because he doesn't remember what he did. And that's why Punisher can't kill him earlier on. That's why Frank Castle can't kill him the first time he has a chance. But then he remembers, and he goes right back to the dirtbag, and you remember what the feelings you had. Now, there's another guy in this named John Pilgrim, who John Pilgrim
Scott Pilgrim's father.
Well, he was based on a character named the Mennonite from Marvel Comics, who I think that they wanted to leave a specific religion out of this.
Yeah.
So they didn't call him the Mennonite. They called him John Pilgrim. And the Mennonite got crushed by Frank Castle with a safe, and his head got crushed and he got killed. So it's not the same guy. But so these two guys, John Pilgrim and Punisher, have parallel life experiences.
Yeah,
They are like two sides of the same coin.
Right.
They are. And you start, I remember at the start, I didn't like that guy. I thought he was a complete asshole and a jerk. But the more this goes on, the more you understand where he's coming from and why he does the same stuff and why he's just like Frank Castle.
Yeah, so I agree with Weapon 2. I think this season overall was stronger than Season 1.
Can I go next? Because it's already going to be hard enough to follow him. I should have went first.
I'm
I'm sorry.
But then follow both of you guys?
I'm sorry,
No,
you guys.
I give you your chance.
I'm sorry.
Now you wait.
Hey guys, I don't want to spoil everything for everybody.
You did. You're just so excited.
It's cool.
It's
exciting.
fine, yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No.
Go.
Oh, now I can go?
Yeah, Lonnie, I want to listen to you.
I liked it. No, no, I agree with Weapon 2. Season 2 for me was better than Season 1. But it's funny, like, to hear you say that at first you didn't like Pilgrim, like you thought he was just jerk, and for me it was like I seen him do exactly what Frank Castle was doing, just on the other end. But he's basically doing the same thing,
Right.
And so for me, and I think all of us, Russo just wasn't the Jigsaw, like the face just sucked. He should have just kept the mask on because it should have been more messed up. Like, I mean, after what Frank did in the first season, like that face should have been totally like just messed up. Like that kind of sucked. They could have done better with that. But I mean, literally, I don't really have a lot of complaints about this season of The Punisher. I think it was one of my favorite shows out of the Marvel series that they've had on Netflix. My thing is I like the details and things. So when Frank picks up a gun or any of these guys, like especially Frank, he always checks the chamber. It's like he's doing things that you would actually do in a gunfight, or what people are trained to do. So especially military. So it brings the details to the screen, which was nice. And then one of my favorite parts was just when Pilgrim and Frank were fighting. In an episode, I think it was the last episode, they're beating the crap out of each other, and literally like
You take a
they
break.
can barely
What do you
stand
take the
up.
break? Yeah.
Right.
Are you ready? I was waiting on you.
Right,
Okay,
and
let's go.
like they have like they're fighting, but they like stop to see if like each other isn't ready because they want to have that even fight. They don't want
Yeah.
to.
You got respect for
There's
each
an
other.
honor thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was just one of my favorite parts because I'm like, holy crap! I mean, there's a lot of blood, a lot of shooting, a lot of killing. I mean, it is
It's
a
a Punisher.
Punisher show, and there's a lot of things from the comic book that just it was phenomenal. I loved it.
Yeah, so there's basically two plots going on at the same time. The first of which is Frank Castle is in a bar, just trying to live like the low life, you know what I mean, not trying to get anything crazy. He sees this really young girl come in, clearly in trouble. People go to attack her. He doesn't want to get involved, but it's a girl, so he does. And he ends up murdering some really badass assassins. Has a very awesome bar fight sequence in the very first episode where he murders all the people. And now like there's this kind of duo of him and this girl on the run together. And he's trying to keep her safe and figure out her backstory and what's going on with her. Much like, you know, like I think they're kind of figuring out that like older brother, parental figure types to like a younger female work really well on screen if there's good chemistry. Think of like Logan and Laura and, you know, Logan, stuff like that. So there's that going on, and then there's the Billy Russo thing. Now I agree, from a storytelling standpoint, it was perfect. Right? He wakes up, can't remember anything, he's scarred, he's mangled, he has the mask on, looks creepy as hell.
Yep.
And the great thing that they did with that, in his mind, Punisher's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't understand why Frank Castle wants to kill him, and he keeps having the nightmares of the skull and the blood. As far as he's concerned, him and Frank are still brothers. He doesn't understand, he doesn't even know it's the Punisher at first, until the first scene when he sees him coming at him with the skull. And it's a very well shot scene, very well acted scene, and he's basically just loses it and freezes, and he's like, oh my god, it's my best friend coming to kill me. So there's a very easy way to see this as he's not the bad guy, at least in his brain. And that's always when villains are the most compelling, when they don't think they're in the wrong. 1000% agree, his face was not scarred up enough. Because for how hard they were selling the trauma aspect of it.
I thought that since the trailer.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, like he should be so messed up, and then he's like, they realize, well, this actor is really pretty, we have to like, you know, it's like,
But that's
but it's
not
so,
the character.
no, and
that's
it's
the
so
wrong,
dumb
that's
because
the
it's
wrong
like,
villain.
because
for
he's
him.
like, oh, I look so bad, and I was like, bro, I would switch places to look like you with the scars, because now I have a cool pickup line of bars, man. Like, it was like, seriously. But so the endings of that, as we're going into spoilers here, the way that ended between him and Billy, like we don't get like a big epic fight the way we did at the end of season 1. He's actually wounded.
He
He's
got what he
sitting there,
deserved.
and he's waiting for someone to come to him. Frank comes to him, and he just like fucking
No,
cold, just
and he's
pops
trying
him.
to talk to him. He's
Yeah,
trying
he's
to
like,
talk,
I'm glad
hey
it was
brother,
you.
hey
I'm glad
no,
it's gonna be you.
No, he tries talking to him like he's gonna spare him. He's gonna let him go. He's like, hey brother, he's trying to
Frank, no
get
words.
in his side. He's just like pop.
Yeah. So it hits every beat you want to Punisher things to. So my one complaint about season 1, well I have a couple, but like one big one was the fights were okay, but it came out just after John Wick 1.
Right.
So like you see the gunplay and the action in John Wick 1, and then you see Punisher season 1. You're like, this is good, but John Wick set a bar. They upped the fucking bar on season 2. Like even from that first fight all the way through, the gun action is better, the hand-to-hand's better. Frank seems more vicious, more violent. Like we get more of that roaring shit that he does. I think this is an improvement on season 1 at pretty much every level. We even see him eventually start to care and develop like love for this kid, you know what I mean? And it's mutual. Karen Page comes back in one episode. I really loved it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say one thing about while you're on that topic with the kid was a complete ass through this whole season. That kid, he's saving her and trying to rescue her and take her places and keep her safe, and she's completely stabbing him in the back and trying to run off at every chance she gets.
She's running for her life though.
Exactly.
She's scared.
But
she doesn't know who to
She can't
trust.
trust people.
She doesn't
Right.
know it's the Punisher.
But she's also an ass. She also turns on him every chance she gets and tries to get him in trouble.
Until
and
she
stuff.
realizes
But
she could trust him.
Exactly. But listen, so the fact that she was such an ass through the whole thing makes the end when they're trying to leave and they just realize that they love each other and they're just and she's so thankful, that much more strong than one of these shows where the kid starts really appreciating earlier on because she really resisted the whole thing for the whole time. It made that moment at the
It was
end
real.
more powerful.
It felt real.
Yeah.
The entire thing, because she's like a
Yeah.
fucking millennial who's scared for her life. She's not gonna trust anyone. Like, yeah, you're right. It made that moment, like, I almost cried. Like, it made
Right.
it
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
really
It
strong.
was
really
more than
powerful.
a brother. It was more than a brother sister thing.
It was a
father
father-daughter thing.
bond.
So,
So yeah,
yeah.
it was. Yep.
Yeah. So and then that the religious dude, like you were saying, once you realize why he's doing what he's doing, you really empathize with him. To the point where Frank doesn't kill him at the end. That was dope, because he realizes what he's fighting for. He's not wrong either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The few things they did with this, when I hit on, is I love the way that they go into the post-traumatic stress syndrome that veterans have. But just like a lot of things that they've done in these shows, they don't make it a hard they're not just trying to shove it down your throat about a certain thing. This is what post-traumatic. I mean, they show the veterans and they show what they go through, and it just makes it more real. It's like these guys are going through things. They have groups, whatever. The other thing I like about but I've noticed about the Marvel shows is that it seems like they have some type of narrow fight scene, like at a hallway between two cars. The bathroom scene that you're talking about, the bar, but not just the bar, but the bathroom scene. He freaking broke a sink off with somebody's head.
I like when the dude's coming at him. He opens the stall door.
Oh man, yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, so it's just the things that they do with these shows are awesome. So I can't keep saying how much I liked Punisher, this season of Punisher.
If you like Punisher season 1 at all, you'll love this. It's better. Any closing thoughts?
I was done.
I just think for me, from the time they both got into their fights, like the guy fought his ex-skinhead Nazi whatever group he was in, and then when Punisher got jumped and set up by his crew or whatever, that from that point till the end, it just fucking sped up for me, and it was nonstop action. And it ended about as good as that last scene is about as good as scene.
That scene was right out of a comic book.
Right out of a comic book. So all I can say is I don't know exactly what's going to happen with these shows going into the new streaming with Disney, but I hope they can really keep these things together, and because it's been really successful, and at least those two, Daredevil and Punisher, and probably Jessica Jones to some extent, are super strong shows.
Right. So I want to say this season is stronger than the first season. The fights are great. The fight in the gym was fantastic as he's beating people in the face with the weights. I was yelling Gainsborough. That was freaking awesome. So to me, if you're ranking them, you're right. To me, it's like Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones season 1, and then Punisher season 2. It's almost right there with them. It is some of the best examples of the Marvel storytelling on these shows. And you're right, that in sequence, the way I'm telling that to people without spoiling it is, so there's certain scenes, right, in movies or television that are adapted from something that completely 1000% adhere to what that character is. Vader going down that hallway in Rogue One.
Right.
Everything about that screams Vader. Freaking at the end of Iron Man, Tony Stark being like, I am Iron Man. Yeah. Screams Iron Man. The very last 30 seconds, you watch that and you're just like, that is the fucking Punisher. Incarnate, perfect, on point. And so to the fact, I want it to come back, but if that's the end, fine. We had a great Punisher show. I'm totally fine with it. So, moral of the story, watch it. If you're late to the party, watch it.
Yeah, you'll be sorry. You'll be sorry if you don't watch it. That's all I got to say.
But as always, thank you for joining us on this episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe.
Peace.